which is Alien vs. Predator Extinction review by MandaloreGaming. You know, it's heartbreaking seeing like a good show go down in flames, so instead, why don't we just enjoy Mandalore beating on what I assume is a pretty terrible RTS. I don't know if that's the one, but there was Aliens had one very fucking abysmal real-time strategy game, and I'm not like sure if this is the one. But yeah, let's get into it and check it out.
With Halloween right around the corner, now's a good time to talk about an Aliens vs. Predator game. There have been a few of these over the years, but I think most people know the FPS games now. And they should. They're overall pretty great, and yeah, there were some mistakes here and there, but there was a lot of fun to be had and the multiplayer was excellent, even if some barely had maps when they launched. Still, this may come as a surprise if you only know the IP outside of the games. What do I mean? Let me show you. You have the original Aliens vs. Predator. It's a fun concept inspired off an Easter egg in Predator 2. But then we have Aliens vs. Green Lantern, Superman vs. Predator, Batman vs. Giant Crocodile Alien, Aliens vs. Superman, Predator vs. Batman, Superman and Batman vs. Aliens and Predator.
What the fuck is this? This is some deep lore I was not aware of, man. Honestly, this game had a lot of neat ideas, but it's very light RTS. Oh, gotcha.
Aliens vs. Predator vs. Predator vs.
Aliens vs. Predator versus the Terminator. What the fuck is Terminator? What could possibly be the Terminator's beef with Aliens and Predator? What the fuck?
Judge Aliens vs. Tyrella. One more Predator was.
What is fucking hard? Why is there Planet of the Apes there?
Stars War, or something. Predator versus the Midnight Society. And of course, the most important of all, Alien versus Predator versus Brown versus Board of Education. It's a thrash metal track. So you can safely ignore all that for the games. They take place in the future Alien setting, and Predators are there. That's it. However, Extinction is not a shooter. It's an RTS game. A console-only RTS game. So naturally.
Oh, that is very interesting, man. I thought it's multi-platform release. This is a console exclusive RTS game. What the fuck?
It doesn't get much attention. The only reason I was aware of it was because I rented it back in the day. The original plan was to go see the AVP movie, but the theater was far away from where I lived and there was a tornado in the area. I can only hope no one died on the way to see that movie. So instead I went to the...
Yeah, that wasn't that great of a movie. Still somehow like not the worst fucking Alien or Predator movie, because Alien vs. Predator 2 exists, and also Aliens had a lot of shit movies. Strategies on console. That's a joke I haven't heard in a long time. Oh yeah, man. Holy. That's like a recipe for disaster.
Local video store and saw it on pure chance. So I bought a snack and rented it for the weekend. And wouldn't you know it, but it's storming again tonight. So things will be just like they were then.
The Alien vs. Predator movie was The less said about Requiem, the better, especially the hospital scenes with the pregnant ladies. Yikes, man, yikes. Man, they were making like movies about fucking anything back in the day. I mean, back in the day. I'm saying back in the day like the modern fucking Predator movies don't exist. Wasn't there like a Predator reboot movie that was fucking terrible, where an autistic child solves the Predator's like tracking signal and fucking reverses their language so they can defeat the threat? Holy shit, man. I mean, when the first Alien vs. Predator movie gets the actual, Alien vs. Predator, it's pretty cool. AVP is kinda old now. Oh yeah, it's like fucking ancient by today's standards. The reboot doesn't exist, what do you mean? Yes.
No, it's close enough. Alright, let's get started. I've gotta say, for a 2003 RTS game, especially one on console, these character models are impressively detailed. You might think the powers of emulation are skewing me on that, but no, I looked at it natively too. Textures have tiny details, and all around the units are easily readable. So upping the render resolution does make it pop out more, but the good stuff was always there. Beyond that, there's solid animation work, including sync kills, and Dawn of War won't be coming out for another year. Upgrading units also makes them change visually. Some are a lot more subtle than others, but it's a great touch. I love when games do that, and they really do nail the art style. Captain America and his Oculus Rift would fit right into James Cameron's Aliens, and you can give him a bigger firework launcher. But that fidelity isn't free, especially on a PS2. For one, you don't get that many units per faction. The most you can get are the Xenomorphs with 45, but once you reach it, the game engine starts breaking down a bit. No surprise, this also happens on console. Secondly, outside of precious few exceptions, the levels are incredibly bland. You'll actually be surprised to see plants or buildings or much of anything. And when you do, this stuff is ugly for the time period. They had to make sacrifices for the character models.
That's a big fucking box and a very small hut and door compared to like the size of the units. That's kind of funny.
And it really shows. It's not too hard to actually see the seams on the ground. It's not horrible enough to make it AVP checkers, so if you had a bad TV like mine, you might not have noticed it. That said, the level palette is still awful. Every map is either gray or green. Sometimes the game has mercy on you and will slightly tint it red, but that's about it. For reference, one of the big shakeups is playing inside of this laboratory. A staples in AVP Extinction is like Disney World, so some neat models and animations and horrible everything else, which is remarkably similar to Metal Fatigue, which is actually not that remarkable because it's the same developer. This makes Extinction their second asymmetric RTS game. I wasn't kidding when I said it wouldn't be the last time I talked about them, but we're not getting to Mr. Bones just yet. I'm really scraping the barrel here.
Oh, that's a game I don't know too. Might be interested in checking out that review then. I played this on Xbox and I'm on the original Xbox and I'm glad I did. There was much less frame drops, or maybe you just, you know, don't remember that. Or memory has that thing where it remembers things kind of better than they were.
But at least Metal Fatigue had snow maps. The intro actually showed a decent amount of snowy areas, but none in the game unfortunately. Then again, if I start judging games and their cutscenes, I might as well bully myself. So then we have the sound design. A lot of it is movie authentic, but also very compressed, so your mileage may vary.
Holy fuck, that is crunchy. That is some crunchy audio.
The thing is, the PC shooters did this too, but the sound effects are much cleaner. And weirdly enough, they share a lot of sounds between them, but for very different purposes. Some are pretty easy to place. Ah, so was that Scream from one of the movies? Okay, how about this one? There's tons of weird examples like this. I'll stop before I get sick. As far as voice acting goes, the mission narration is very clean and well done, but the rest of it is the most, well, you can tell they grabbed whoever was in the office to do some lines.
I've spotted a predator!
There's barely any voice acting at all, so
when you enter YouTube Meet and meet somebody famous with more than a million subs.
I've spotted a predator!
there's barely any voice acting at all, so I do find it kind of charming.
Oh my god!
What's not charming is how the audio is mixed.
That's fucking funny.
When battles get big, it's an assault on your ears too, because it does seem fine at first, and then... I've had people ask why I point out things like sound, and this is an example why. Someone can make a great sound effect, but properly layering and triggering them is a skill. This is why audio engineers are one of...
True. Unsurprisingly, the Marines were my least favorite. Yeah, like in an RTS, in a first-person shooter like FPS AVP games, right? It makes sense to play the Marine, because Marines were like the standard what you would expect from a shooter game. Sorta like playing fucking, you know, John Call of Duty man in Overwatch, the fucking Soldier 76, or like in any other game of that kind. It's just a character that has the most standard like shooter gameplay that you can always default to if you're feeling unfamiliar with the others, because the aliens were fucking crazy. They could walk on walls, you know, you had to use that movement and shit. Predators like relied on stealth and like gadgets. In a high octane FPS, it would make sense you would default to the normal guys, like the most standard thing. But like in an RTS, why the fuck would I want to play the uncool humans rather than the cool predators or the cool aliens, you know? And especially since I'm assuming this didn't have a great online fucking scene, because like in StarCraft, it's all about gameplay style and utility. You're not really picking based on aesthetics, right? But like here, why the fuck would you want to play the Marines?
Of many unsung heroes for video games.
And also the sound design. They do get a variety in the Marines, such as androids who are immune to facehuggers or smart gunners who can't miss, to be fair.
Sound effect is half the battle.
That's kind of cool, I guess.
How it's implemented is the other. You don't have to alter the movie sounds too much for an FPS game. There's a lot going on, but not that many. But for an RTS, this is noise. Terrible, terrible noise.
Jesus Christ.
One real saving grace of the audio is the music. There's a good variety and blend of Alien and Predator inspired tracks, and each faction gets about a half an hour of music each.
Copy that!
I'm sorry, but okay, I was about to say, because I saw the dollar resource at the bottom of the screen, and I was like, there is no way aliens and predators also use fucking money as the resource for base building, right? But no, they use something like different, I can see. But that would be kind of fucking hilarious, like aliens building bases with money.
Copy that!
Ooh, that's a cool track.
You have the Predator horns, the alien strings, a great mix. But there is one alien track that sounds like a Captain Beefheart experiment.
Okay, that sounds straight out of fucking Resident Evil director's cut. Two clowns farting in a basement type of beat, man.
It's like a seagull being murdered in a haunted house. My brain is screaming that my eyes should be seeing a claymation adventure game and not this. Still, even with the music being good, I can barely stand how this game sounds. It's just clawing my ears out.
It's quiet. Auto-tuned moaning.
Out in the same way Fire Warrior did. I've already failed to recapture my youth by emulating the game, so I guess I'll add another treat. Even with the cool units and music, the presentation feels like it's actively attacking me. The lack of map variation and the sound bawling together. It's like you're staring at a mud puddle and your apartment neighbors have kids and they're just screaming at each other at the top of their lungs. So this is bad. But, grading on a curve of all RTS games I've played, this is actually pretty average. So let's move on. Now, having heard all of that, you might think the controls are a vortex of pain too, but they're not. They're actually very well done. The left stick moves the screen, the right stick moves around the minimap.
I don't recall the audio much. I wonder if the Xbox version differs much. Could be some crunch like coming from emulation, but you know.
Allows you to jump around easily. Yeah, it's still stiff and will never be as fluid as mouse and keyboard, but I didn't find myself fighting the controls all that often. You can make groups with a D-pad and snap to an event with a button. It's not a micro-intensive game, and there's no base building outside of the alien, and even that's barely base building. So it gets the job done in a simple and elegant way. Now I can finally go through all the factions. First up is the United States Colonial Marine Corps. As per usual, they're out to do company dirty work. They're a mobile force, and each one of their units has a specialized role. The regular infantry is your trusted go-getter. With enough of them, they're good at murdering pretty much anything. There wasn't a single mission where I didn't upgrade them with better armor and grenade launchers. Upgrades affect all current and future units, so it's a good deal. You have facehugger immune flamethrowers, which massacre things up close and are weak to range. Deadly snipers that are the opposite and can be upgraded to shoot through walls. The company androids who carry the iconic motion tracker and also carry everything else. There's more, but you get the idea. You want to tailor your forces to the weakness of the enemy, and you have a lot of options in doing that. You don't get every unit from the first mission, but they do unlock periodically throughout the campaign. In the missions, their limit is money, and they do earn a small amount by killing enemies. But the main source is repairing and securing some atmosphere processors. These give money for a while before expiring. Each map has a few, and a lot of the battles are centered around capturing or holding them. They're never main objectives, but always a worthy target. You actually buy your troops and upgrades through a Comtech unit. He's responsible for keeping the machinery maintained and, on a larger level, all of your people. And the people machinery too, I guess. Reinforcing is not an instant process. They get dropped in after a while in a designated landing zone. This can get really hairy. Hold on, exosuits are on the way! So you need to keep your troops alive and make sure your Comtech stay safe. It's always good to have a few. So fights can have some tension knowing that if you're not careful, you might lose your reinforcement supply. You could finish missions without them, but it'll be tricky. Now you could complete missions normally, but there are some bonuses. All missions have a time limit to beat and usually optional objectives. Some of these won't be revealed until part way through the mission. Trying to accomplish both can make missions challenging and genuinely fun. The relatively smaller scale and specialized units makes the gameplay feel very tactical. Do you want to avoid androids for more firepower? Better hope they don't have invisible boys. Are the xenomorphs sending your troops into a coma to drag them off into the hive? Well, the doctor is in. Make no mistake. Coma to drag them off into the hive? Well, the doctor is in.
Time to practice medicine. Holy fuck, that looked way more visceral and brutal than it should have.
Make no mistake, this is a difficult game, especially if you go for the optional time and mission objectives. Your main goals are the standard RTS fare with nothing really unique or out there, which is disappointing for the setting. But despite everything, I was having fun with it, especially when I
Why is that?
Discovered my love for the exosuits. It wouldn't, despite everything.
Why is that fucking guy, that android, I think, armless? What the fuck? Healing them from life. 40k brand of mercy. Oh my god.
I was having fun with it, especially when I rediscovered my love for the exosuits. It wouldn't be until I divined cybermancy that their fire rate was surpassed.
Holy, that is some fucking fire rate. Also kind of funny for him to mention the fire rate and if divine cybermancy, because I just during the course of last week I finished Ultra Kill and I did the secret encounter with the mysterious druid knight. And yeah, shit was a hilarious throwback to his I Divine Cybermancy review. I think the androids can actually suffer battle damage and lose limbs. That's fucking cool, man. Roll that one on surgery roll. Fuller auto, yeah. Man, the banter, the fucking banter in that boss was S-tier. Holy shit. The entire Ultra Kill is like a 10 out of 10 perfect game. Holy fuck, I would recommend it to literally anyone.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I meant the upgrade.
Oh, there is even more. Okay. Holy.
So the lesson is you can drown out obnoxious sound effects if you fill the air with Bert. Unlocking them is powerful for morale. That said, this is the same mission where you hit the difficulty cliff. It's the second to last mission, but man, things get hard. You fight every other faction in the game, including humans, and they're all teamed up against you somehow. You crawl through
What? Why?
a hell dungeon to get to the top of a big map, and there's no money up there, so it's an endurance round. You have to keep taking down Predator anti-aircraft guns, which sounds easy, right? Well, not when you attack them and they reveal more and more turrets around them, and you have no money. Also, I didn't mention it yet, but the biggest problem the gameplay here has is pathfinding. That's one of the chief elements you don't want going wrong in an RTS game. You click your army somewhere and most will go, but some will just wander off. Or they'll get bunched up in a tight area and start freaking out. You just want them to go up and a bunch of guys just run off into the hallways. Where are they going? Do they know how dangerous it is out there alone? So the more complex the map, the more likely this happens. Doing this in the time limit and with the bonus objective is absolute hell. But if I don't do that, then I don't get the special mission medal. What am I supposed to do, just not get it?
True.
So after several tries, I finally do it. 3 minutes to spare. You may be wondering why I'm not talking about the story. Well, it's told in these screens before the missions, and that's it. There are precious few in-game reveals and nothing really noteworthy. I do like this artwork though. So, spoiler warning, here's the ending for the Marine campaign.
That seems about right. Like almost every one of those fucking movies ends with you know, a nuke going off.
No cutscene, no screen, not even a you win, it's done. But what if you get all the medals? Sorry, but no, you just unlock cheats. Maybe something happens if I get them for every faction. Surely, right? So it was buggy and loud, but I had a surprisingly okay time with the Marine campaign. For some reason, I don't remember much of the Predator one, so I guess I'll find out why. We start off next to lava water straight from Oblivion. I'm not sure what it means yet. The Predators are a smaller but more elite force. For one, most of their units can cloak, which is governed by an energy meter. The cloaks have gotten better since the movies since they now work in water. This meter can also be used to heal them at any time. And thanks to the movie The Predator, we can now speculate on whether or not they're shooting up autism. The shrine is their base.
He brought it up. Actually brought it up. If I recall correctly, the company successfully bred a new kind of alien they could command, and the Marines need to destroy them all. The Predators think it makes for more fun hunts. And it seems about right.
Unit. Unlike the Marine Comtech, they can only get one, and when it's gone, it's gone. It is tanky and has heat death rays, so that does make up for it. It also comes with near instant reinforcement. Now pair that with vision upgrades. These let you see enemies inside the fog of war and still blast them. And if you do this while cloaked, the AI does not react to the attack at all. This will make them easy prey, and instead of money, you get honor points. You earn a few from kills, but much more from taking trophies. The deadlier the prey, the higher the payout. So you could go and mass murder harmless space cows, but there won't be much for it. It's all simple and the roster looks powerful. The first
How the fuck do you generate honor from killing somebody from stealth while they don't know what the fuck is happening? If you think about it, Predators are like fucking stupid ass hypocrites, because they are like all about the honor and the good hand, and then they fucking snipe you out of invisibility while you don't even know what the fuck is happening. Like, the Predators are fucking hypocrites, man. I mean, honor does not have to be moral. Maybe honor is more like competence for Predators. I guess it could be.
This mission's a breeze, so time for the second. Kill 5 units and take their trophies. Easy enough. What the fuck? Why are there so many? It's the second mission. It's just the second mission. After several tries, I barely make it in time. 7 seconds to spare. Maybe it's like
Jesus
Marine 6
Christ.
and this one will be easier. You know, I got over the difficulty hump. I'm supposed to hunt animals in this mission. What?
Oh man. Humans are really protective of their animals in this universe. The Imperial Guard has arrived, and their numbers are quite a few, it seems. And they really love their fucking humans. What the fuck? They really love their fucking animals, man.
The challenge spike is huge for so soon, and I'm only playing on medium. I even knocked it down to easy to check and the swarms still came. What's worse is like the Marine campaign, you fight human and predator enemies, but they don't fight each other. Actually, it sure looks like they're working together to screw me over. There's no story reason for this. I've played missions where the enemies do fight each other. So why do these ones have teamwork and absurd numbers of enemies? The mission right after this is a fairly easy sneaking mission, and after that you unlock military predators, which are absurdly powerful. In a way, the predator in the movie was just a redneck shooting some deer. So what do these guys bring? Apparently artillery range auto-targeting cluster missiles, also the sweeping heat beams of death. These are all upgradable too, so after this point the campaign is kind of a joke.
I'm guessing it wasn't like that intentional on their part. He might not be using the right units. The Predator campaign expects you to play it like a Thief game, and when fighting humans you need to use the Spear Boys to insta-kill them from stealth. Maybe he didn't understand the gameplay flow of the Predators. I couldn't say, I never played this, so it's hard for me to picture what the problem could be.
It is mindless, but it's mindless fun, to the point that the last mission has an optional objective that's just don't use them. It's like the progression balance is at random. After much suffering, I did unlock cheats, and I wanted to see what the deal with mission 3 was. One lets you spy on the enemy, and there's not many here. Then, someone walks far enough to trigger it. The minimap starts exploding with new signatures. I've seen tons of RTS games cheat resources or build speed, but this is something else. This Marine horde is far past their population count, but that's still not enough because they're still being spawned in the conventional way. I'm starting to truly realize why I never got far into the Predator campaign. Was this to artificially make the game longer? To combat renting it? Wouldn't these fights horribly lag out of PS2? I feel like my soul won't be at rest until I have answers. The progression is so busted and weird that it's all I think about whenever I think back to the Predator missions. The roster is cool, but the experience is either brain dead easy or madness hard. When I played without military guys, it did bring things back to sanity, but there's no salvaging the earlier stuff. It's not the worst Predator game thing I've played. There were fun unit combinations and tactics to pull off. The situations you're put in, though, it's just a mess. When it comes down to it, I'd still rather play this than see the Predator ever again. It was just a strange experience.
I love the fucking Predator catching strays all the time. I mean, it deserves it. I would need to replay it because I had no issue with the Predator campaign. That is crazy. Maybe something bugged out?
Overall, but the artwork is still good. Okay, one last faction.
Now is the time to breed and grow and dominate.
Our Xenomorph friends play very differently than the rest. They're melee focused and have superior numbers, without cheating. The aliens gain currency by downing their enemies in combat, and that's it. The reason for that is that they don't use currency as much as the other species. They can't just buy more units to spawn in. Instead, the Hive Queen needs to start laying eggs. Then your unconscious victims can be dragged in and impregnated. You go through the facehugger, the chest burster, the cocoon, it's a whole process. The ideal scenario is having a constant drag parade. The more bodies you bring in, the more Xenos you hatch. So that's already radically different, but there are more nuances to it. For one, the kind of alien you get depends on the host body. Animals can make drones or runners, humans can make warriors, predators make pred aliens, you get the idea. However, you can take it even farther through upgrades. How about the drone? Well, they're given an acid that makes the host bodies more ideal for gestation. So if you bring them along for your victim hunting parties, you'll spawn more powerful variants of the aliens. Of course, you could just hatch the eggs and
That's very fucking interesting. Holy.
the facehuggers out, but that's not always a good idea. They're incredibly vulnerable to every weapon, and some enemies are near impossible or straight up impossible to facehug when they're alive. Plus, when they're outside your hive infestation, their health is always going down. So you can make it work, but you'll likely lose a few. This makes having your drones tidy up and build a nice home an advantage. It's a safe place for facehuggers to play, and it also heals all your units up. And I mean dramatically heal them up. Check out Lieutenant Dan here. Looks to me like he's ready to go back to the jungle. To make it even better, if anything even touches your infestation, you'll know where they are for a long time. In conclusion, Xenomorph Hive is prime real estate. Remember, you can always move if a new lot opens up. You also have the option of going for a pure strain of the parasite. These are the Praetorians, and morphing a regular egg into one of theirs does cost money, but no matter what host you have, you always get a Praetorian alien. From here it can morph into a queen if your hive is missing one, or 2 other strains. There's the Ravager, which is just a brick shithouse of power. It's incredibly deadly, but unlike other aliens, it kills its enemies outright. No face means no face hugging. On the opposite end, you can make a hive-supporting carrier. This one ferries facehuggers around like a horrible camel spider. If anyone gets too close, it'll chuck a facehugger at them. So yeah, the aliens have a lot going on. Their campaign definitely has some harder levels, but nothing.
Man, the aliens look fucking awesome, man. Making facehuggers was free, and I have found memories of making swarms of them and running across map looking for victims. That does sound like a lot of fun. Holy shit, this should have been just the aliens, it seems, because they have like the most going for them.
Thing like the Predator 1. It's unique and genuinely like nothing else I've played in an RTS. While the majority of missions are still mainly your standard RTS fare, they do venture out a little bit. It challenges you to master the life cycle and pick out the right hosts and aliens for the job. There's still not much going on in the story. It mainly revolves around you fighting, premium currency aliens that Weyland-Yutani is making. I'm not kidding, they just have gold skins. Extinction is really a fever dream sometimes. Eagle-eyed RTS veterans may have noticed the problem already. Aliens are a melee-focused horde faction with a complicated life cycle. So let's see how long a new unit takes in the best possible conditions where everything is already set up. Still cooking. Okay, nearly half a minute. That seems like would be a detriment, but you can upgrade eggs to have 2 or 3 or 4 facehuggers in them, and the facehuggers themselves can eventually put 2 embryos in certain hosts. So what if you lose a battle and just have nothing but the queen? Well, she's the queen. If she sees a problem, she could just get right up and slap the shit out of it. Vengefully. She is a mother, but also a career woman, and her career is Ubering anyone and anything into the next life. That could explain the cult. So no, that's not an issue. The real issue is their actual combat gameplay. You're all about numbers and melee and can only influence this through a controller, so your gameplay is going to be very blobby. Sure, you can control group them to separate them out or avoid AoE weapons, but there's not a whole lot to it. It is fun being a swarm, and there's enjoyment in managing the hive and hatching all these different alien types, but the combat itself, you really can't go wrong just making a murder ball. It could get stuck because the pathfinding is still terrible, but you knew that. I truly do think there's something to this life cycle idea, even outside of an RTS game like an alien hive management game or something. I think I'd love playing that. Back on track, I got all the medals, and no, there's no secret ending or screen or anything. It's only the same cheats as always. I can accept that the campaigns had terrible, terrible moments. Entire stretches of them stacked on top of each other. The thing is, with the asymmetrical gameplay and all the different units, there's a lot of hope for skirmish. Maybe military predators are more expensive there or something. If there was system link, I could see this being a great time in multiplayer. Well, trick or treat, there's none of that. There is a lot of lore to read up on, but no more game. This was just...
Oh, it has like no multiplayer at all. That sucks. I played the aliens the most, and they had the mission that gave me the most trouble.
Disappointing back then, but even more so now because I know they made metal fatigue. Sure, that did have a lot of issues, but it also had everything you'd expect in an RTS. I get the sense this game was rushed out far before the vision was completed. Elements like so much voice acting sounding like placeholder when I know they've done better, missions just having a number with no real ending, I just have this nagging feeling about it. What's even stranger is you think this game might have been rushed out for the movie, but no, the movie wasn't even in production when the game came out. They crunched on that movie trying to get Freddy vs. Jason money. I can't really recommend it, it's not like some hidden console gem you need in your collection. There are monumentally better AVP games and RTS games, but this is a fascinating little title. I would love to know more about it because I could barely find a thing. Back when I did the Return of the King video, I actually had one of the animators reach out to me. I never thoroughly combed his brain or anything, but only talking to him for a bit gave me more insight on that game and the Third Age, and I felt a little bit more at peace, I guess. But those were games I loved playing. This was one I liked playing and sometimes hated playing. Even back then, I remember the feeling of it being like a weird dream I was having. This was a monkey's paw wish for me. I can only lament that the game wasn't made for PC. Beyond the obvious control issues, there could have been fan patches or mods or who knows. It is appropriate to start October with something that haunts me to this day. To its credit, Extinction never screamed ODST at me over and over, so I guess there's that. More to come soon. Something scarier.
I'll get some backup.
It basically auto-aims for me, and in reality, okay, more October stuff soon.
Oh, that was very weird. I wonder what the numbers meant. So yeah, that was Alien vs Predator Extinction. A very different kind of game, you know. I still like the game a lot. Granted, I can't say everyone should play it, but I still like it. That's understandable. It's incredible to see Rings of Power spoilers in Mandalore's videos. I forgot Rings of Power is a thing that exists. Holy shit. Mandalore also has a review I haven't seen anyone react to called Shogo Mobile Armor Division. That is very fun. Seconded again, it's a very cool game. Yeah, I guess that can go on the docket. Alongside the fucking Metal whatever RTS game that he covered by the guys who made this. Yeah, very weird game, some very cool ideas, but man, console exclusive RTS. Come on, man. Just adapt it to PC and give like the modding scene a bone and they will like make multiplayer for you, you know. Such a shame, because this could have been like, this could have been something kind of better. It almost had a PC release, then that is fucking tragic. Let me see what's going on in the comments. My favorite feature from this game was that Predalians grew more spikes every time they were grievously harmed in battle. If they survived enough fights, they would molt their skins and become even more spikier boys. That's cool. I can only hope nobody died on the way to that movie. I saw that film and I assure you, had I known death was one of the options, I would have taken it. This game needs a remake, not a fucking chance that this ever gets a remake, but I agree. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Aliens vs Predator Extinction review by Mandalore. Asymmetrical games are always very hard to get right. Very true. The reason it didn't, I think Mandalore stated in his Darkest of Days review. If I recall, the IP company didn't give them rights to put it on PC. Fucking man, executives are fucking stupid, bro. Holy shit. But ain't that a thing that we all know by heart by now, you know? And yeah, that's it for Alien vs Predator Extinction review. Thank you very much for watching. For those of you joining later on YouTube, I strongly recommend catching the streams where you can, you know, talk to me directly during some of these reactions, because like the banter, honestly, the banter is like my favorite part of these reactions by far. Like just talking about the chat and hearing all the crazy stories and yeah, learning about those games I never played. So yeah, see you on the stream if you ever come to the stream, I guess.